All right, let's move on to the next topic.
So I can't remember. This was in person. Dena Hendry came up and asked about the one of our favorite topics. Councilwoman Stubbs.
You're always lampooning her.
I know. I'm such a lampooner. I don't even... Yeah. But she brought up something in the New Jersey Revised Statutes, Title 40A, Section 16-13 or 16-18. I forget which one it was. And wanted to know if it would pertain to Miss Stubbs. And what it essentially said was that if a member of the government, be it the mayor or a council, didn't make 8 consecutive meetings, that they could essentially be voted out. And that's
by the members of the same board or whatever that they're on, correct?
So, but it wasn't clear, and the argument came up against it. It was a long clip, and we didn't want to play the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's been the topic for a long time now with council members missing meetings, and at what point can we vote them out, or can council vote them out?
Can something be done?
Or anything, can anything be done? So there was talk of a judicial process to do it. But we're kind of in a unique situation in Gloucester Township because we don't follow the traditional form of government in Gloucester Township. We follow what is called the Faulkner Act, and it's Plan B of the Faulkner Act. And the structure is a strong mayor, so we have a mayor and 7 council. That doesn't quite fall into the traditional statutes. So that was kind of the question. And it wasn't clear by the township solicitor whether or not that was a thing either.
It's never clear.
So his answer is here.
Mr. Carlamere, you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with 40A 1613 that was referred to. There's a lot of judicial process that takes place when there's an action brought for that. When someone is not here, there's a comment that a person is ill, or there are all reasons why. But if there's a fault of desire, I'm just not attending any longer, or no issue, then I think there's a judicial process, not just you're out. Both council, it has to be a judicial process. But if the individual has reasons, that judicial process as an elected official will not succeed. And I think that's what some of the comments that we talked about at prior meetings when the question came up about Mrs. Stubbs and why she's not here. I've looked at it because the questions come up obviously many times. There's not a judicial process that's been initiated. It can be initiated by public.
Oh my God.
Recall. There could be a lot of reasons that someone could initiate an action against a council person or mayor. More strongly against a mayor in that form of government when the mayor is required to attend. We're a different form of Faulkner Act type.
I'm very disappointed. I'm getting word salad here, and I don't even have dressing.
I hear you.
I don't know what this is something
every time he talks.
I've looked up ordinances and the Faulkner Act before to find out when different things, when a member leaves town or when a member just decides to not come to meetings anymore, what the process is. It's not defined in the Faulkner Act. It's not defined in our book of ordinances. There are no rules for that. So when Dena brought it up, it seemed to me as they were reading it off that it wasn't going to be a topic that they were going to say, wow, yeah, let's do that right now and vote her out.
No.
But the last thing, and we actually didn't clip that, but at the last part of that discussion, President Mercado said, I think we're going to find a resolution to that shortly.
He did, I think, and then in a future clip we're going to have that played. But yeah, it was basically said like, not. I don't think he thanked her for bringing it up, but I think it was just as she was walking away, said something along the lines of, "I think we'll have a resolution to that fairly soon."
Which brings us to the end of the meeting.
Right. So we went through all that word salad. Salad bar was open. Everybody's taking part of the salad.
Yeah. And
boom, it happens.
Everybody gives their final remarks for the evening, and then this happens.
I have an announcement to make. A letter was submitted to the clerk this evening by Andrea Stubbs.
Is this the right
Nancy,
clip?
it's with sadness that I submit my resignation effective today. Before I go on, Ms. Stubbs told me to read this email in entirety, and I will. Nancy, it's with sadness that I submit my resignation effective today. I regret that personal issues hindered my participation in a job I respected and enjoyed. I also regret being maligned by the falsehood of being the author or authorizing a letter regarding school board elections. I would never participate in any type of potentially polarizing activity. It's been an honor serving my community. I expect that my letter will be read this evening by you in its entirety. Thank you, Nancy. I have missed her being here. I was not appreciative of the comments that were made about her or how she was lampooned by people. People go through things through their lives, and we don't know what they're going through. And but I will miss her, and I have missed her here. And I wish her and her family, Trey and India, the best. Ms. Power, I'm asking you to contact the Democratic Municipal Chair tomorrow and make him aware that there is a vacancy. And I will start the clock, and we have 30 days to fill this vacancy on council.
So he said, people go through things in their lives, and we don't know what they're going through, and kind of a shame on you to everyone that has called her out on that. And I say, the things that she was going through, apparently, from her letter, was that she was used in a letter that went out by one of the political PACs that supported her campaign to talk badly about two candidates, you being one of them, Miss Dena Hendry being the other one, on school board.
Yeah.
So that thing that she was going through that stopped her from coming to meetings, from the very moment that it was brought up and she was called out on it, the thing that she was going through
was caused by the man saying...
was caused by the guy that's up there reading that off that is accusing other people of lampooning her for this.
Oh,
so that's what happened, folks.
So
allegedly,
you're not
I'd say.
Call it like it is. Like a, You can't call it like it is.
Well, allegedly, that's what happened. I mean, that's what it sounds like happens here. She says that she has no part in doing that.
So, yeah, if you listen to what she actually said in that letter, and you take it word for word and actually play and understand like what she said in that in there, you kind of get lost at first. And you said, what is she even saying? But she didn't send that letter to read by him. She asked Nancy, the clerk, to read that. And he took it and saying like he's going to read it. Like, this is my friend here. This is the letter that she asked me to write or to read out in full, and I'm going to do that. She literally did not ask him to read that. She asked Nancy to read that.
Yeah, and
is that what are we doing with this here?
Well, yeah, I wanted to point out that it was
okay. Is that up on the screen? I don't.
Not yet. It's not. Okay. It's not on the screen yet. But I wanted to point out that this letter is signed with her and Carolyn Grace's pictures on it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty clear that this thing went out
to intend
as her and as Carolyn Grace.
Right. There was no. It didn't say it was just somebody else signing. We're just going to use these people here.
But
now that did go out, and she was used in that way. This is what she's going through, is dealing with, I didn't say that. I didn't put those words on that paper. You used me to put those words on that paper. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's the takeaway that I got from this.
Yeah.
And from the start of all of this, the time that it came out, it was shocking that it came out from her. She's always been one of the nicer, more compassionate people on council. She was the only person that voted against the tax increase.
Yeah,
during the
absolutely.
pandemic.
Yep.
And it was out of character from what a lot of people. I don't know her. I've never talked to her, but a lot of people said that it was that's out of character.
Yeah.
But it seems like from this letter, she was used.
Well, and I think that's, I mean, from the get-go, for the people that know her or know of her or know people who know her, know that was not her that wrote that letter and was used by that PAC to put that letter out just as a smear. And I would be just like her. I would be pissed off if they used me to do that. I didn't agree to this. I didn't do, so I could see where she's coming from, on that side.
Yeah, so
I never for 1 minute, as being one of the people who were in that attack letter, never thought that it was her as one of the people that wrote it. Now, Carolyn Grace, I did approach about it because there was times when I did actually go up, and she said that she did write that, or said, what did the letter say? Okay, it said that I wrote that, then I did write that. So for her to defend the PAC who did put that out can only lead me to believe her telling me straight to my face, yes, I wrote that, without saying the words, yes, I wrote that.
Is she intimidated too, though?
Right. I can tell she's playing the political game, that went along with that. And I don't think Mr. Stubbs wanted anything to do with that thing. You can go back, we have the date, we could put on here, of the date of when she learned of this pact, and you can watch the council president sitting there talking to her for quite a long time on video, and then she literally did not say another word until she bolted out of that council meeting, never to be seen again. And to your point, that's what she was going through. So I don't want to hear either that it was something else. It was obviously,
and I don't want to hear from him how righteous he is and talking down to people that supposedly were lampooning her when this was him. This was him and his people that did this.
Yeah,
this is what they did to her, and the PAC that sent this thing out. The PAC is owned and run by Mr. Carlamere, his wife.
a solicitor. Yeah,
the township solicitor, his wife, guy. She's the one that runs the PAC that sent that letter out. So it's likely, if Carolyn Grace didn't write it.
I don't know that that's on paper. I don't know that. I mean, I don't know if that's 100% true that she is. I know people have said that she's the chair of that PAC, but I don't know that we know that really for sure.
Yeah, I think we've gone through this before. It was the same PAC that did the Sweep the Creep campaign.
Yeah. I'm just clarifying. I don't know that to be 100% true, to be able to sit here and allow that to be said. You know what I mean?
Dug through a lot, so yeah.
I know that people have said that his wife was the chair.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever argued that she wasn't or said anything, but either way, I don't know that to be true.
But at the very least, the person that's up there talking as if this is something bad that happened to one of his friends.
Right.
He's the one responsible for it. Him and the folks that are going to pay for his
Well, I don't
campaign.
know that he is himself, honestly. Like, is
he a puppet too?
Is that his PAC? If we're saying it was, I
Well,
I don't know exactly how a PAC
This is the machine
works.
discussion.
Right. This is a machine discussion. You're right.
This is the money that powers it all, and
right.
you've got to play to be a part of the machine. Otherwise, you're out there on your own.
Yeah, I get that. So I'll stop. But I'm just saying it wasn't.
Yeah.
You can't, in all fairness, pin that on one. It's not necessarily one person.
Well,
one
it's not
person.
him.
It's a pack that's
it's
a group of people, basically.
It's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the president.
But you can't gaslight us and say that you're the one that's up there like, oh, all these people lampooning her, when literally she didn't write that letter to you and you read it. Here, play. Where's the next clip? Here we have a timeline. So if we go through the timeline of that particular night. Miss Stubbs had sent the letter in.
Yeah,
and if we pause it, I don't know if we can pause it. It'll be up for a few seconds, but you can see that it was written not to the council president. It was written to Nancy Power, who's the clerk.
Yeah, I'll pause.
And it says that I'm hoping you read it. But if you listen to his words, he says, she asked me to read this. No, she did not ask you to read that. She asked Nancy to read that. Because to your point is where you're saying he's part of this whole problem. Because from if we follow back in time and look at the video clips of it, he was the one that, from what it appeared, seemed to break the news to her like, hey, listen, there's going to be some stuff going on tonight. People are going to be pretty pissed off at you because this is what you did. You wrote a letter.
It's probably unfair to blame him for the letter, but I think it is fair enough to blame him for not sticking up for her.
Okay, I'll take that.
Because that was the day that she and Miss Grace were called out. That was a pretty rough day.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of tension in there. If you remember, Hutchinson
was
going
going
crazy about saying we no more political events in here, and I imagine our next council meeting is going to be pretty political. I feel like people are going to bring it up.
You think?
So I do. I think they are. But check out the timeline, because the timeline. Now remember, the meeting starts at 7:30. And we did the ceremony where we gave out scholarships for half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we did the closed door session. And then
for another 45 minutes or so.
So check out the timeline.
Yes.
So this is the letter that was sent in, and it was sent in at 7:34 p.m. to Nancy Power.
She didn't CC anyone else on it. She literally sent it straight to the clerk.
So,
and this is what he read in full. But on here you can see it says Nancy, as with sadness, and then it says that expect that my letter will be read this evening by you, meaning Nancy, in its entirety. Thank you, Nancy.
Madam Clerk, Madam roll call.
Mr. Hutchinson?
He is running late.
Ms. Grace?
Here.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Here.
Mrs. Stubbs?
She will not be in attendance this evening.
Mrs. Winters?
We have a resolution on the agenda to go in closed session. We have 6 items to discuss workers' comp issues that may take up to about 45 minutes.
So in this time here, it's at 8:02. At 8:02, when they're going into this closed session meeting here, the only thing that he just said there was they were going to discuss 6 workman's comp issues, and that's it. So from what I understand, they're only allowed to discuss 6 workers' comp issues, and this is at 8:02.
yeah, in the Open Public Meetings Act.
Right.
That's where it talks about.
So
I entertain a motion for resolution 2304-100.
Unfortunately, this seat has been vacant because Ms. Stubbs has not been here. I just wanted to let you guys know, in the event that you were not aware, there is something there that, so therefore you guys can be a full working board that you all deserve. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I think we'll have a resolution very shortly on this. I have an announcement to make. A letter was submitted to the clerk this evening by Andrea Stubbs. Nancy, is with sadness that I submit my resignation effective today. Before I go on, Ms. Stubbs told me to read this email in entirety, and I will.
she told Nancy,
is
not
with
you.
sadness that I submit my resignation effective today. I regret that personal issues hindered my participation in the job I respected and enjoyed. I also regret being maligned by the falsehood of being the author or authorizing a letter regarding school board elections. I would never participate in any type of potentially polarizing activity. It has been an honor serving my community. I expect my letter will be read this evening by you in its entirety. Thank you, Nancy.
So yeah, I just realized in that takeaway at 7:32 during attendance, it was a different answer than either she's ill or just no answer at all. It was she will not be in attendance. So I kind of feel like it was maybe talked about before the meeting, and then
Maybe, I don't know.
it was I don't know. It's
It could have just been a generic, I don't know that she's sick, I don't know that she's coming, or what, I don't, it could have just been a generic. But it was known ahead of time that she was not coming. And then a few minutes later, she sends the email after it starts. They go into the executive session, or whatever you call that, closed door session, or whatever the resolution is called. Again, from what I understand, they need to tell you what they're going in to discuss. So the question comes back to at what point in time did that come up? If the email was sent that same day, how did Orlando get that email? Was it during that closed door session where the clerk got the email and says, "Hey, this came in," and the way that the offices are all connected back there, where you could literally get to her office to print something off back there, she doesn't have a printer up on the thing, and from what it appeared that he was reading it off of a piece of paper up on the dais. So at what point in time did he get the notification? Was that discussed during the closed door session? Was it? What are you doing over here?
Huh? I'm trying to find out why the dog's barking.
Oh. But so it was interesting, and then it becomes a part where it's obviously known from the time when a resident is sitting there asking, and then we're giving a word salad for a minute and a half that we played for you guys, and then it was said as the person's walking away, I think we'll have a resolution on that shortly, and you're like, wait, 11 minutes later you then announce the whole thing? So you let that entire charade go on.
Yeah.
For what? You already knew. Why couldn't you just said it at that point in time? Is there some sort of stringent guidelines
I don't know.
that stop you from being able to say, listen, I already know where you're going with this. We received an email about an hour ago.
And we're going to address
Unfortunately,
it in a little while.
right. We're gonna address it in a little while. No, instead, hey, Mr. Carlamere, whip up one of them word salads that you got real quick, because she needs something to eat over here. What? What?
Yeah, I don't.
What is that about?
I don't know. It was the same thing with Trotto. When Trotto left, you went through a couple weeks of it, and then there was a whole big presentation. Like Sam did a whole thing, and then they said, "Yeah, sorry, we don't have any information on that." And then at the end of the meeting,
8 minutes later,
they had a letter. Yeah, sorry. At the end of the night,
it was time stamped. Hours before. It was like, really? You literally let that all go on?
So you got to play dumb through the entire meeting. But for 2 hours, you're just playing dumb on there. In the end, you go, "Oh yeah, that thing we're talking about. Yeah, she actually resigned." There's transparency.
I mean, what is
transparency?
that?
I don't know.
It's not transparent. There's more to that. I don't know what that is. What personality trait that displays, but
I don't know.
There's something to that. Like, I don't understand. I mean, that's gaslighting. It's like, it's not happening.
Do you say it at the end because nobody can respond at the end? I mean, do you wait till after the second public portion so that nobody can respond, and then hopefully it goes away by next meeting? I don't know, but that's what happens every time. Thanks for checking out that clip from the Restore GT podcast.
For our full episodes, you can check us out at restoregt.com, or you can find us on YouTube at Restore Glowtwip, GLOTWP.
Yep. See you soon, folks.